بتتكلم كلها على الكلوز. أول حاجة relative clause. What is a clause? A clause is a group of words that contains subject and a verb, but doesn't always express a complete thought on its own. It needs to be combined with another clause to form a full sentence. For example, while she was reading, this is a clause. Subject she, verb was reading, but it isn't incomplete. It's incomplete. Complete sentence. While she was reading, the phone rang. It's a complete sentence. So while she was reading, it's a clause, subject, verb, but it needs another part. It needs another part to make a complete sentence. So what is a relative clause? Relative clause is a type of dependent clause that provides additional information about a noun. It usually begins with a relative pronoun. Like who, like whom, without E, like that, which, whose. Or relative adverb. Like when, where, and why. Any one of these, relative pronoun or relative adverb. For example, the book that I borrowed is fantastic, fascinating. Here, that I borrowed tells us more about the book. What about relative pronouns and their uses? For who or that instead. Used for people, especially as a subject of the clause. For example, the teacher who teaches. Math is very kind. So who or that used for people, especially as the subject of the clause. Okay, number 2, what about whom? I can use that instead. Used for people, especially as the object of the clause. Like the friend whom or that you met yesterday is visiting again. But whom is more formal and less common in spoken English? Number 3, what about which or that instead? Used for things, animals, or ideas, subject or object. The laptop, which I bought last month, is already slow. Which? Okay. What about whose? Whose shows position for people, animals, or things. The arts, for example, the artist who's painting or famous lives quietly. Whose? And what about another one, like when? Refers to time. For example, I remember the day when we first met. Okay, and what about where? Wherefore refers to a place. And we have an important note here. Don't use a preposition like in, on, at, after where. We use it without preposition. If you want to keep the preposition, use which instead. So where equal which plus preposition. So if you want to keep the preposition, then use which instead of where. So we can say this is the park where we used to play. It's correct. Use where refers to the place. And we can say this is the park in which we used to play. This is correct. But you can say this is the park where we used to play in. It is not correct. In and where Okay, then don't use a preposition after where. And if you want to keep the preposition, just use which instead. Let's say advanced usage. What about the quantifiers? Quantifiers with whom and which? I think this is the first time that you hear that. You can use combine whom for people and which for things with quantifiers. Like what? Quantifiers is just like some of, like many of, like all of, and none of, neither of, one of, etc. For example, she has 5 cats, okay, all of which are rescue animals. So I use quantifier all of before which. Okay. Let's see another one. They interviewed 10 candidates. None of whom were suitable. Okay, none of a quantifier before whom. And now let's talk about something else. The types of relative clause. We have 2 types, defining and non-defining relative clause. Relative clause help us identify or give more information about a person, place, or thing, but they fall into 2 types. Number 1, defining relative clause. Defining relative clause tell us is essential information. Defining essential information. Okay, tell us which person or thing we mean. The sentence doesn't make complete sense without this clause. No commas are used. So we have 3 rules. Okay, number 1, it tells us which person or thing we mean. And the sentence doesn't make complete sense without the clause. No commas are used. Let's see an example. The student who finishes first gets a prize. The student who finishes first gets a prize. Without the clause, we don't know which student. So this provides essential information that we can't understand the sentence without it. Another one, I need the book. I need the book. Until now, I don't know which book do you mean. I need a book. I need the book. Which one? That is on the top shelf. Without the clause, we wouldn't know which book that is on the top shelf. Okay. See another one. People who exercise regularly live longer. Okay. Refers to all people who exercise, not people in general. So it is essential information who exercise regularly. Okay, number 2, what about the non-defining? Relative clause. It's equal extra information, not essential one. Extra. Okay. This one, add extra non-essential information about a noun already identified. So the noun is already identified. I don't need this extra information to know it. The sentence is complete and clear without the clause. Commas are used to separate the clause from the rest of the sentence. So again, non-defining relative clause add extra non-essential information about a noun. The noun is already identified, so I don't need this information actually. Number 2, the sentence is complete and clear without the clause. What about the commas? Commas are used. Why? To separate the clause from the rest of the sentence. Okay, let's see some examples. My mother I already identified it. She is my mother, not anyone or anybody. Who is 65 years old. Just ran a marathon. Okay. Let's try to extract this extra information from the sentence. My mother just ran a marathon. It's nice, and we can understand it without this extra information. Who is 65 years old? So I don't need it. Okay, this is extra information. The main point is that my mother ran a marathon. Her age is extra. See another one. Paris. Everyone knows this. Paris. You don't need to identify it without any way. Paris, which is the capital of France. Really? It's really extra information. We don't need it. Has great food. Okay. Paris is already identified. The capital information is additional. So try to say the sentence without it. Paris has great food. It's okay. We can understand it. It's a complete sentence. So which is the capital of France is an extra information. Okay, see another one. Our teacher. Whom we all respect is retiring. The main idea is that our teacher is retiring. Our respect is extra information. So we can say our teacher is retiring. We already identify the teacher by using our at the beginning, our teacher, not any teacher, but our teacher. Okay? So, quick comparison. Defining and non-defining. Okay? Let's put them in a table. What about the essential? In the defining, yes, it's essential, but non-defining, no, it's not essential. Commas. No, we don't use it with defining relative clause, but in non-defining relative clause, we need to use it. Okay, what about omitting? In defining, no. Sentence, it changes meaning. But here, yes. Sentence, still clear. Okay, so I can omit the relative clause in the non-defining. Okay. Let's see another, or this, two examples. The children who wear glasses get free eye tests. And this one, the children who wear glasses get free eye test. The first one, the children who wear glasses get free eye tests. Without commas, this is a defining relative clause. Here, only those with glasses, only those will get free eye tests. Not all the children, but the second one with non-defining relative clause. The children who wear glasses get free eye tests. No, here all children wear glasses. All children wear glasses. Non-defining extra information, which means the all children already wear glasses, so they all will get free eye tests. Okay. And here we need to focus on another point. What about special rules for relative clause? Using whom for object. Let's stop here for a while. Using whom for object. When the relative pronoun refers to a person and is the object of the relative clause, you can use whom instead of who. Okay? Like whom, but whom is more formal, as we said before, and less common in spoken English. But you can also use who or that, okay, or nothing. Like the neighbor whom I helped last week said thank you. Whom for object. The sentence was I helped the neighbor. So the neighbor is the object of the sentence. So when I started the sentence with the neighbor, I used whom. It's formal, okay? We can use who or that. Okay, I can say the neighbor I helped directly without any relative pronoun, without whom or who or that. Okay, see another example. That's the actress. whom the director praised. Okay. In speech, that's the actress the director praised directly without using whom or who or anything. Okay. Another point. We need to focus about it. We said about the quantifiers and the commas for non-defining relative clause. And another point? I don't think so. Let's take a look about the point in your book. I think that is everything. Okay. So, what about the omitting? Omitting unnecessary relative pronouns. In English, the relative pronouns who, which, and that can sometimes be omitted. Whether you can leave them out depends on their function inside the relative clause. Not each relative pronoun that we can omit. No. The pronoun is followed immediately by a verb. So if the sentence have pronoun, relative pronoun, plus the verb, the man lives next door is a doctor. Or the man who lives next door is a doctor. Which one is correct? Let me write both here. The man lives next door is a doctor. And the man who lives next door is a doctor. Actually, this one is wrong. So if I have a relative pronoun followed by the verb directly, I can't omit the relative pronoun. But maybe you think that the sentence is okay. The man lives next door is a doctor. It's in a good tone, but actually it's grammatically incorrect. The man lives next door, that's wrong. The man who lives next door is a doctor. Okay? Then keep the relative pronoun when it is the subject of the relative clause. The pronoun is followed immediately by the verb. See another one. This one's right. Let's see another example. I have a car, costs too much to fix. I have a car, costs too much to fix. This is also wrong. Okay? When the relative pronoun is the subject of the relative clause, you can't omit it. If the pronoun is followed by the verb, you can't omit it. So the correct one is I have a car that costs too much to fix. This is right. Okay. So number one, pronoun plus verb. Don't omit the pronoun. Okay. Number two, omit the relative pronoun when it is the object of the relative clause. Okay. Pronoun is followed by noun or pronoun. So I have the relative pronoun here, relative pronoun, but followed by noun or pronoun. In this case, you can omit it. Can omit. Okay? So, omit the relative pronoun when it is the object of the relative clause, when the pronoun is followed by a noun or another pronoun. Okay, the subject of the relative clause. Let's see the sentence or an example. The movie that we watched last night was boring. In this case, I can omit the relative pronoun that. Why? It followed by another pronoun, so I can omit it. So the sentence will be the movie we watched last night was boring. It's okay. Omit that. No problem. See another one. She is the teacher. Who I met at the conference. Okay. Who I. So I can omit it. She's the teacher I met at the conference. Omit who, no problem. Okay, see another example. This is the bike which my brother bought. Which my brother bought, so I can omit it. It will be this is the bike my brother bought directly. My brother bought. So, omit the relative pronoun again. Omit the relative pronoun when it is the object of the relative clause. When the pronoun is followed by a noun or another pronoun, you can omit it. Okay? So, never omit where or whose. Again, never omit. Where or whose. So, for example, that's the cafe where we first met. If you think that a relative pronoun here is followed by a pronoun, so it's okay, nice, fine, that we can omit it. Actually, no. Where and whose, never omit. We can do this with where or whose. Another one, I know a girl whose father is famous. And here, okay, who is followed by a noun, father. So, can we omit it? Actually, no, because where and whose, both, we can't omit them. Can't omit where or whose. Followed by noun, followed by pronoun, followed by anything, you can't omit them from the sentence. Okay, fine until now. Any problem? Any question? Try, think.
مش تمام.
Okay, great.